Hello and welcome back to Leeds United for what is the end of Season 1 of this legacy portion of the Leeds United save. It is, of course, our 5th season overall. And, well, last time we met, we won the Carabao Cup, and we're still fighting in every single front. Things happened. Yeah, in a way, kind of glad we haven't won it all already. Because realistically, Premier League, we've already done it once. It'd be nice to sort of consistently start winning those titles. But, yeah, the two other cups that we haven't won yet, still haven't, because shenanigans happened in both of these. Southampton beat us 3-2 off the back of an XG arrangement of 0.6 versus 2.1. Georgi Mamardashvili, if I've got that right there, continues to be the worst goalkeeper I've ever seen in Football Manager. Cannot fathom him. We did deal with Manchester City in the Champions League before Bayern Munich beat us in both legs. And whilst they had significantly more shots than us in the home leg for them, the XG was actually in our favour, marginally. And then in the home leg, yes, once again, XG marginally in our favour. They had 2 shots on target and scored 1 of them, whilst using Patrick Sigurder Gunnarsson in goal, a goalkeeper who is rated between 3.6 and 6.6 million. And yet we couldn't score 1 goal past him. He's actually their starting goalkeeper looking at his appearances. Also in that period, West Ham beat us 3-2 in yet another FMing. 1.7 to us, 1 XG for them. Again, more shots on target, but less shots overall and less good shots. Bayern Munich's former goalkeeper, Nubel, in goal for them, weirdly enough. But that did at least mark the first competitive league goals for Thomas Barunas, our youth prospect that came through our own academy, I believe year 1, actually. And I still don't think we've actually produced another youth prospect better than him since then. Australian has 2 caps and 2 goals for Australia already, and now has 1 league start for us and 2 goals off that league start for us. Kind of realise, now that we're actually using wingers, I can train him as the right-hand side with his strong left foot, and we're all good there. With 16 dribbling and 16 first touch, and not quite as good finishing, I think he probably actually will be better in the inside forward roles rather than the striker role. But a homegrown player that could hopefully add to our homegrown contingent going forward. Also, shout out to losing to Southampton 3-2 and then beating them 5-0 in the league. But Everton dispatched recently along with Wolves with a 93rd minute winner, following Archie Gray being sent off. Good. I believe that's our 4th red card of the season, probably even worse than that. 3 in the league, 1 in the Champions League. So yes, 4. Does leave us second, exactly 6 points behind Manchester City, with 1 game in hand. So win the game in hand, we'll only be 3 points behind them, with all 1 game to play. That game in hand, however, Man United away from home, who are in a fight of their own just to actually get 7th and some European football. QPR at the bottom there with 8 points, 2 more than they had last time, and unless they win their final game, will go down as the worst Premier League team of all time. I believe the marker is either 10 or 11. Oh no, it's now 9 thanks to West Brom last year. So unless they get a point, they will now better that immediately. Or worse than that immediately, I guess. And because of the arrangement of games we've had, I'm guessing it's a sort of a cumulative effect. For some strange reason, we played Everton on the Sunday rather than the Saturday, and then Wolves on Tuesday, and now Man United on Thursday, before Leicester on the Sunday. Again, that one's fine. Thursday, Sunday I get. This Wolves game being on a Tuesday, I do not understand. And I especially do not understand it when you consider the fact we played on a Wednesday here, and then a Wednesday again, rather than a game on a Saturday in here. Football Manager, sort your scheduling out, thanks. Cheers. Even Brighton aren't doing that, and they've got 3 more games to play than everyone else. Now, the good news is, during this period, I have sort of rotated the team in such a way that we can actually put an 11 out. In fact, we can put a pretty solid 11 out. Makoko, probably not good enough. Almada, good enough for the bench. Valeri's better than Gosens for the bench here. First 11's looking pretty strong, actually. I'll probably say the final game. This game is obviously tougher than the other one, so Valeri in over Keane for this. Almada at 90% versus Awar at 96. I think I'll stick with Awar here. Archie Gray being suspended here is actually a problem, because he would have been a good bench option. But I think the lineup will be as follows. Karnashevsky in goal, he's fine as goalkeeper, of course. Valeri, Undika, Milenkovic, Gotchling. My first 11, actually, at the back there. Or first 5, I should say. Phillips, Milenkovic, Savic. 7 for 7 in terms of first teamers. Awar, Bargi as the other concession made. So actually, we're only missing 2 of our 11 here with Pedro and Milovanovic up front. Valeri's been injured, by the way. That's why I'm saying he's lacking a bit of fitness. As they bring in Endrick, Anthony, Mainu, Esteve, Gvardiol, of course, who they bought from Newcastle for massive money. And now Newcastle have got 16 more points than them. Good move there from Josko. Probably Valeri's playing in a different role today. I'm pretty certain he's played left back the entire damn time. Man United did buy Seaman from, I think it's Stuttgart. Any Football Manager players who have been paying attention this year will know that he is kind of the in-game goalkeeper wonder kid, the one that already exists this year. I think the Belgian one is still pretty solid, Van der Voort, but Siemens the one I think with the higher potential this year, as we've gone 44 minutes and 54 seconds, said that weirdly, without a highlight. We're getting one now. There's Undicker on the ball. Phillips. We are going aggressive here. We've not sort of made any concessions to the fact we're away from home against one of the better teams. Rooney finds Aouar, forced back to Milenkovic, and that's Phillips into SMS. That's going to put Milovanovic through. He's oh blimey! I was about to say he's got his work cut out here, and then he'd smashed it in. I don't know why that was a sorry. Why are we questioning the fact he was onside? He was clearly onside. Number 16 on the bottom left plays him on by a good couple of yards in the end. Maybe it's the angle, but I think the central defender, the middle, is playing him onside as well. But number 4, in fact, it was actually number 4 that put him more on than the right left back. Who is this Sergio Carrera, by the way? Real person, 26, worth a lot. Squad player, Villarreal. Seems quite quality, actually. Just haven't seen his name come up this year before. What a time to get a goal as well. On the stroke of half time, pump fist. I have faith. No, genuinely, wouldn't mind no more highlights. Just nice, easy 1-0, no more fuss. Rooney had a bruised shin, apparently, and now he's actually injured again. So somebody's just hit him twice, basically, in the process of this second half. Brunis actually is going to have to come on there. It won't suggest him just because he's not naturalised there yet. Wait, is that Enzo Fernandez? It is Enzo Fernandez, just because he's still got River play. I wasn't 100% certain. Odd that he must have been tired. Odd that he was the one they brought on rather than already had on. Livramento is injured, I believe. So Albonot at right back is something I'd kind of want to avoid doing if possible. But Calvin Phillips for Tyler Adams as a booking, I think, is going to be what we're going to do here. And Aouar's not been fantastic, so we're going to have to bring Armada on. SMS Pedro tiring a little bit, Gottschling tiring a little bit as well, as they bring on another guy who seems competent. 19 jumping reach, good lord. I would probably say as the person with the most stamina in the team, SMS is the one that stays on the pitch. As much as I kind of don't want to bring Albanaz on here, if I could avoid it, but I suppose it's good to get him some game time, and hopefully if he comes on before 75th minute, he'll get the 15 minutes he needs to get a rating, which provides development, and actually Hendrick's offsides there, so we'll get to do it straight away. Albanaz really needs to get some more minutes just to develop, because ideally on that right-hand side, I would like to have Gottschling as number 1 as a homegrown player developing, and then Albanaz as number 2 as another homegrown player, as Enzo Fernandez from Bruno Fernandes equalises, and that ruins our chances of winning the title. We'll still play the last game, because why not? But just comes from nowhere, really. And number 10, is that Armada, was the one challenging him for some reason. Although, her immediate highlight, no more substitutions we can actually make here. Esteve, I thought, might have been about to mess it up there and let Barunis in for a second time in one highlight. I thought it was about to happen. As, in fact, there's a chance for them and they're about to win, because I know this ball. Oh, no, good save. How many shots on target have they had? 7, actually. It's been a good game for Karnasecki. I'd actually probably argue he's worth more than a 6.8 in this game. He's made 6 saves. I mean, it was a 1-1 away at Man United. You take the point. Like, in isolation, as a game on the schedule, you take the point, but we now can't win the title. I don't think we can also be any worse than second either, so this last game is entirely meaningless. Fulham and Palace still got something to play for. Guarantees our Champions League, and the budget 50, I think that's less than last year, but 2.7 million wage-wise is a slight more. Yeah, currently spending 2.5, committed to slightly more just because of percentage raises, I think. And 57 million in the budget. Obviously, we'll get a ton at the end of the season. Right, through careful rest shenanigans, Leicester thankfully also safe now as well. So absolutely nothing to play for in this final game, but we'll watch it anyway. Oh, how many games for Ndeka was that? 125. I don't know why they ask about that. As if that's a... How is 125 a milestone, really? Oh, this lad who's not very good has got a work permit for us now. This was just me testing the amateur thing for this year's game. So I acquired him from Panda for free and shipped him out to Australia this year to get a work permit more than anything. I mean, he could be a rotation player once upon a time, but not sure he's going to. So one important time here, actually, is Lovric will become homegrown club at the end of this year. It's a pity he's not really better than that. He's played 4 times for us this year, so it's a smidge unfortunate. Now, the one thing I don't understand is the fact he's already regarded as Leeds United eligibility, even though this says he won't get it till the end of this year. By the end of this year, I can actually loan him out, no problem, and I probably will do, because I think there's a couple of young defenders that have kind of come through or been acquired that are already ahead of him on the list. Now, we've got Boothby, of course, who we bought from Wigan, who I would probably say is, why are they playing him at right back? He's 6'4" with 16 jump reach. He's a centre back. I mean, he's got reasonable crossing, actually, so. And the other one is Menderes Yigita, who's been sent out to Dresden because I don't think he got a work permit. And actually, to be fair, he's got 18 jumping reach. And he's only 20 as things stand. Not really developing on loan, but that potential looks nice. talking about legacy, we've got some defenders in the system then. Between Gottschling at right back, Yigita there at centre back, and James Keane at left back now. That's 3 out of the 4 for the future. My client would need some convincing to move to Al Ittihad. Robin Gosens. I mean, the whole plan was to have you to come in for 1 year and then sell you on, and they're offering me 14 million. If I was intentionally trying to sell him, I wouldn't get that much. Shout out to Fulham for the only team actually making money. Everton's Tycoon is doing things, 200 million spent this year, and still 6th. I say still 6th, by the way, because this is the second year in which they've had the Tycoon. Year 1, I think they actually did better. Well, they slipped to 5th in the end. Yeah, that's right. It was very tight between 3, 4, 5. Okay, so everyone except for Rooney Bargy is fit to start this, and most importantly, Makoko will be available for it. I'm actually going to leave him out of this just because he took a knock in that game. We've still got Brunis on the bench. All's good there. Nketiah probably not on the bench is a sensible thing for this one. So Szoboszlai will make the bench, and in fact, we'll play Szoboszlai over Aouar. And yeah, kind of don't feel the need to change anything else. Robin Ghost is on the bench, actually, as well. Ghost is on the bench as well, actually, just while he's still here, he is a better player. And if it is his last appearance, then he's had a good 1 season with us. 20 starts, 20 sub-appearances. Calvin Phillips makes his 250th appearance here. I love the fact that Matthias Norman has a Norwich shirt in this still. Oh, there's Bosco Sotalo, slumming it at Leicester. I say slumming it just because they're 16th. A player that we've had in title-winning sides in years past, somehow only in a team that's 16th this year. I can never remember which one's the better between Bosco and Josip. But Gottschling gets on the end of that ball. Sergei to Ndicka. I think we had Josip in this save, didn't we? Szoboszlai finds João Pedro. There's Makoko, and that's a lovely well move. That's what we've been doing all season. Inside forward to inside forward. I am pleased to report that inside forwards work again. If you recall last year, I moved to a 3-striker system because inside forwards didn't really work the way they were supposed to last year. They do this year, which is why we're back to using inside forwards rather than a 4-3-3. And before anyone says anything, this is not a 4-3-3. Attacking midfielders are not forwards. When there's a central attacking midfielder in the system, you don't call it 4-2-4, you call it 4-2-3-1. Yeah, take that attacking midfielder out and put a defensive midfielder in, it's suddenly 4-3-3. It's 4-3-2-1. Let's move on with the correct terminology, please. Maddison to whip this in. That's Tielemans, who's still at Leicester in this save. Valeri charging down this left. I'm surprised no one's bought Tielemans off them, actually. I'm surprised no one's bought Maddison off them either. Or Justin. Still got a fair few of their good players here. I don't think they've been in a perilous situation like this. Well, there's Szoboszlai with a wonderful goal. 11 goals for him. Actually has gotten into double digits again this year. Not quite as prolific as last year, of course, just because of A, less game time, and B, I think he's had a couple of spells out, actually, as well. I think the A and B was just a case of actually having A, less midfielders, and B, an improvement in the role that he actually has, which was box-to-box last year. But yeah, moving away from 3 midfielders obviously has cost him some game time, and typically, obviously, if he's not starting, then he also can't take penalties, which was a reasonable portion of his goals, and actually a reasonable portion of his goals this year when he has played. Carnage actually claims that. Calmly. Ndicka finds Dominic. There's SMS. That's going to go through to Milovanovic, and I'm not quite sure what's happening there. It's a wonderful goal, 3-0. Milinkovic-Savic to Milovanovic, Serbian teammates. I often wonder how much that plays into FM's calculations, sort of national team teammates linking up like that. I mean, part of that was just the fact that nobody bothered to defend Milovanovic there. They just sort of left a wide open gap between the central defenders, and suddenly it's 3-0. Lovely way to finish the season. Worst part of this is, I think Manchester City are losing. They are. So what we just learned there, Manchester City are essentially winning this title thanks to Manchester United. I can't blame Man United, though, because they had their own thing to fight for still. It's not like they were comfortably in a European spot and could throw the game. They still need to get some form of European football here by getting as many points as possible. Makoko, this ball's still going off the line. I mean, right now, Man United are 8th. They must be losing their final game because they're on 57 points when we played them. So 58 points is the number of points they went into this weekend on, and they've got no more. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Gottschling with a crack, maybe? No, going wide. Bounds it off to Dewsbury Hall, who's also still with them. Dewsbury Hall I found to be a good player in the West Ham rebuild. No, it's a chance for James Justin. In fact, it was a chance for the other right back. After it all started with me going, oh, is it a chance for Gottschling? Nope. Oh, Leicester are playing with Freddie Woodman in goal. No wonder they're losing. I mean, I love the lad, but I don't think he's that good this year. I'm sorry, what? Man United actually played with Freddie Woodman in goal for a year. This is genuinely only his second appearance for the Leicester. He kept 4 clean sheets out of 5 games he played in the league for Man United this year, and he kept 7 in 36 last time. But what? I love the lad. He's always had a little bit of potential. He's always been a very solid option for a backup goalkeeper. What? I have questions, Man United. We'll check that league table for the season he actually played in goal for them. S. Crivel, great name, great chance. Okay, 3-0, relatively cruising. Ghost is on for a 15 minutes of fame. Might just preserve yellow cards here, actually, more than anything. We'll get Albanaz on for some development time. Poor Dick has been run off his feet this week. He's played 4 games in the space of 8 days, I think. I might have rotated him out against Wolves. I must have done. There's no way he could have played that many games that many times, even with rest. Hoofed. Awar now. Almada. That's going to be a run from Makoko. Definitely going to pull this one back. There's Milovanovic. Almada. I love Milovanovic's calmness there. He's like, right, I am got an angle on goal right now. Oh, there's Almada. Bam, 4-0. Annoying that would have been Zoboslai's goal if I hadn't substituted him, but never mind. But yeah, Milovanovic here. Just got a defender right in front of him. Bam, there's Almada with a clean line of sight. 4-0. Woodman's rating makes me think we've not had that many shots on target. No, we've only had 5. Oh, Woodman just made a save. And I'll shout praise at them, even if Madison scores here, which he does, because you can't really get through a game without the opponent scoring in this year's FM now. It definitely has to be something post-patch, because we did have a good spell where we didn't concede in sort of January, February, but it seems to be very difficult to get through a game without conceding now. No matter how many few shots or what poor XG they put in, it seems very difficult to go. In fairness, they've got up to 0.9 XG, so they always kind of deserve a goal, maybe, but Newcastle held on for the win. Wait, where's Manchester United? QPR got a point against Southampton. Okay, joint worst, probably worst goal difference. No, they played Everton, they lost at home. So not only do they deny us effectively the title, I mean, actually, to be fair, Man United having to choose between Manchester City and Leeds United, who they want to win the title, is a bit of a Sophie's choice. This title race was the worst case scenario for Man United. Basically their 3 biggest rivals. Money. Man City win title with fewest points. That's depressing. Oh, Young Player of the Award. And despite finishing second, we've got the same number of players in the English Premier League's 11 as Chelsea and Liverpool, who are behind us in the table. In fairness, Man City have only got 4 and they won the damn thing. But Undika and Zoboslai, bizarrely, actually, again, 7.11 in the league for him. Okay, well, that makes no sense. Thiago Almada is 7th in the overall list of average ratings and yet didn't get in ahead of Zoboslai, which, I mean, I like Dominic, but Phil Foden sat right there as well. Shout out to Evan and Dicker, though. Most headers won. It's kind of weird. Kind of said he has a 5th highest save percentage and yet still feels like he conceded a goal. Well, he did concede a goal a game on average. And he kept 11 clean sheets this year. It's kind of worth saying, after a very rough start, the overall conceded didn't end up that much worse than last year. I mean, he conceded 30 and 36, and by kind of the halfway point of this season, we'd already conceded 30, so I was slightly panicking. And then this stretch happened where we only conceded 1 goal in 2 months in the league. We started chipping away a few more as the end of the season. We conceded in every single game, but we didn't concede in April again in the league either. So a couple of good months in there, salvaged that. Where's our end of season stuff? Speak of the devil. I mean, still some silverware, so it wasn't a completely worthless year. 41 million for a 32-year-old does seem mad, but quite frankly, he's been worth every penny. And I suspect with that 20 natural fitness will remain. His stamina and strength look like they might be on the slight decline, but yeah, he's 32, but 20 natural fitness, 17 stamina. He's got to hold on for a little bit longer, I imagine. Gosens' natural fitness of 13. If he gets sold, then that's fine, because we do have James Keane, who we bought for 60 million, and a lot of his attributes aren't going up. His vision and passing are no longer non-existent, so they're now on up to 10 at least. Good tackling for a left-back as well in particular, and going forward he's pretty solid too. Only really that many signings of note. And of course, bringing Calvin Phillips back. 18 natural fitness on him as well, so 31. Probably got a good 3 years left on him, at least. Neither Fulham or Crystal Palace get points on the final day either, so that sent Fulham down. I think Southampton have been down before, so I don't think they've got anyone worth nicking. I mean, A- for the Champions League is very good, apparently, so we'll just keep building that up. B+ for winning it in the Carabao. I mean, literally can't do any more, and you've given me a B+. Yeah, poor QPR. Do a worldwide reputation. Sponsorship is up. Broadcast down, oddly. Livramento at right back, actually. A resurgent season from him. I was genuinely considering selling him at the beginning of the year just because we had 2 right backs still without him, and he's been very average before this year. You can see actually this year more sub appearances than starts still. But kind of searching goal, of course, for Larry. Milenkovic only 6.82 average. I do have to maybe question that position. Part of our Serbian call, though, of course, with Milenkovic, Savic and Milovanovic. But Calvin Phillips, of course, SMS and Dominic does make this 11. What does Almada need to do? I mean, as much as I love Dominic, Almada had a better average rating. But 11 assists, 11 goals, still 22 goal contributions from him. But obviously a lot more contributions happening from the front this year as well. 22 goals for Nketiah, 21 for Pedro with 13 assists, 14 for Makoko with 9. Where's Milovanovic? He scored like 30. He scored 31 goals all told. 7.19 overall average rating. Fans player of the season, young player of the season, top goal scorer, doesn't make our best 11. New worst discipline for Calvin Phillips, 19 yellow cards in a defensive midfielder role. Kind of expect that, really. Yeah, a new batch of things, 15 wins in a row, of course, the bill that season. Did rocket us back up from after that kind of average start. But yeah, 60 million deal for James Keane is a new record for us as well. And Gosling won the Next Gen award as well. Not sure I mentioned that. but Gosling did get next gen. The overall best 11 will still see us with the old formation with 3 defenders. You can't see it by my head, but Pedro, Nketiah and Milovan are the 3 strikers. You can see them in the list above, I suppose. Martin and Szoboszlai make the midfield pair. Skov still at left back. Meslier still in goal. Cresswell has just gone straight into the first 11 actually here as well. He wasn't in it before now. Milenkovic makes the bench. So just 2 defenders added to our overall between both bench and starting. More family, less fair weather. 3.7 more social media followers. I wish that meant something. Informal objectives. Expand stadium in progress. I don't see a notification about that. The qualify for the Europa League is now a required objective for next year. So I'm going to say that in this team talk and move straight on. The board have announced plans to enlarge the stadium by 17,905 seats. It will cost 65 million and take 14 months to complete. As Gosling rejects Al Ittihad. Well, that's great news. But I was wondering about that because we were maxing out every single game. Where is the Leeds Community Stadium? I live here and I don't understand this. Built in 2023. I feel like I would have heard about this. But it's got 42,500, which is technically more seats than we've got already, and it's still in Leeds. But yeah, that'll bring Ellen Road up to 55,500 seats, the actual expansion to our actual. Sorry, that's not the. I mean, actually, it will do the same, I think. 37.8 plus 17.9 will be around 50. Will be around 54, 55,000. I can't do the maths precisely, but it's going to be in that ballpark. By the way, one of our scouts retired, and I don't really know why. He's only 34, but he still exists in the game as an unemployed scout, but I can't do anything with him. Just in case you're wondering, I know he's terrible. I got him for knowledge purposes. Did anyone else have this? I thought it might have been just a case of him holding out hope he could still just play football somewhere, and he was just retiring from playing. But he still exists in the game as an unemployed scout, but he has gone from my scouting list, so I don't know what. I'll find out. Anyway, we pretty much covered all the highlights for this season in terms of players. Only another couple of minor headlines I probably should have mentioned before now as well is that our homegrown player, Charlie Cresswell, who you saw got into our best 11 there as well, also got an England cap this year too. That's about it. That's the only other thing really worth mentioning. So if you enjoyed this season, not as spectacular as last season, of course, where we won the title and the Carabao Cup, just the Carabao Cup this year, we were sort of feeling things out, trying to find a new formation to really stamp a legacy on this team. And I think we've put a good starting point. We required a couple more young players, particularly homegrown nation young players, to really propel this team forward for the future. Still some positions that are going to require some young blood for the future, and still need to get some proper good youth intakes as well to really do homegrown club future as well. That's kind of really the ideal. Having a team where the youth facilities are providing the stars of our future rather than having to rely on getting them from elsewhere. So there's still quite a long way to go in this. But yes, if you like this, do like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, I'll see you for next season. Ta-ra.